Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a jaw-dropping event, how Ukraine allegedly lured a Russian helicopter into a deadly trap, and how this sky ambush, as many call it, actually unfolded behind the scenes. What really happened? What tactics were used? And how credible are the claims? Let's break it all down. What we know first is this. Reports emerged that Ukrainian forces set up a deceptive tactic, deliberately presenting bait, in order to draw a Russian helicopter into an area where it could be ambushed. In some versions of the story, it's a Russian Ka-52 Alligator attack helicopter that got struck by FPV drones after being drawn into a kill zone. But to understand how this scenario works, we need to look at both the method and the context. The key idea in any ambush is deception. In this case, Ukraine may have used a bait helicopter tactic, fly a helicopter in a way that seems vulnerable, lure enemy anti-air or air defenses to focus on it, and thus reveal their positions. Once those defenses commit themselves using missiles, tracking radars or surface systems, other assets such as drones, ground-based missile systems or anti-air teams can strike them while they are exposed. One video circulating claims that a Ukrainian Mi-24 flew low and slow, making it seem an easy target. Once a Russian missile team revealed themselves by launching an Igla or similar surfaced-ware missile, the Ukrainians responded with dozens of rockets, flares, and a coordinated drone strike to neutralize the enemy position. YouTube, that's the narrative in several tellings. It paints a dramatic image. A vulnerable helicopter is the lure. The real kill comes from hidden assets. In another documented case, Ukraine's Special Operations Forces deployed 7 FPV first-person view drones in a coordinated strike to ambush a Russian Ka-52. The drones were community-funded, meaning local sponsors or citizens contributed to acquiring them. This suggests that some of Ukraine's more creative tactics are born of necessity, low cost, high impact, and leveraging asymmetric advantage. In that operation, the Ka-52 was destroyed, which underscores how lethal coordinated drone ambushes can be. It's worth noting that drone warfare has become a defining feature of this conflict. Ukraine has increasingly used FPV drones not just for scouting, but for direct lethal attacks, even ambush style, where drones land or hover, wait, and then strike when a target arrives. Against that backdrop, using a helicopter as bait is not just theatrical. It can be smart if well coordinated. Now, skeptics might ask, why risk a manned helicopter at all? Wouldn't that be recklessly exposing valuable assets? The answer lies in risk versus reward. If the enemy's air defenses or crews are too cautious, they may never reveal themselves. A bold bait forces them to commit. The payoff is that in that moment of commitment, when their radar is active, their missiles are launched, their detectors are revealed, they become vulnerable to counterattack from drones or ground assets, especially if they aren't expecting retaliation. Let's walk through a hypothetical version of how such an ambush unfolds. First, Ukrainian forces choose a target area where Russian air defenses are suspected but not confirmed. They ensure that backup assets, drones, ground fire, missiles are prepositioned and ready, but concealed or inactive. Then a Ukrainian helicopter, say Mi-24 or similar, is sent over or near that area, flying in a way to attract attention, lower altitude, slower speed, visible trajectory. The idea is to look vulnerable enough that Russian defenses believe they have an opportunity for a strike. The enemy sees that easy target and activates their defenses, launching missiles, turning on radar tracking, revealing their systems or positions. At that moment, the mask is slipped. The hidden assets respond, Drones swarm in, perhaps targeting the AM or radar units or directly targeting the missile teams. Simultaneously, the bait helicopter may deploy flares, rockets, or maneuver sharply to evade. Meanwhile, the enemy is caught exposed. The result, the helicopter may survive or retreat, but the air defense team becomes the target. In some versions of the public narrative, after the missile is launched and misses, the Russians are forced to reveal their exact location. That gives Ukrainians the precision to hit them with kamikaze drones or land-based fire before they can relocate. That's how the death trap in the sky concept is explained. Yet we should also examine limitations, uncertainties, and alternative explanations. For one, source verification is always tricky in war zones. Many video claims can be exaggerated, edited, or misattributed. The information often comes from military press releases, social media, or wartime outlets, each with an incentive to amplify success. Second, not every bait and ambush narrative holds up under scrutiny. Sometimes a helicopter might be shot down in a more straightforward engagement, or by portable air defense manpads or anti-air missiles, not via an elaborate trap. Some claims may oversell the cleverness to boost morale. Third, success depends heavily on timing, coordination, and intelligence. The drones or strike assets must be ready at the exact moment the defense activates. Any delay or miscue can allow the enemy to reposition or shut down systems. The risk is high. Fourth, the enemy may adapt. If Russians catch on to such tactics, they might withhold active defense systems, use decoys, or set their own traps. Warfare is dynamic. Every tactic invites countermeasures, but despite these caveats, there is strong evidence that Ukraine is innovating aggressively in drone warfare and asymmetrical tactics. Their use of FPV drones to target helicopters or air defenses is increasingly documented. On the other side, Russia has fielded Ka-52 and Mi-8 helicopters, often relying on surface defenses and point air defense systems. Sometimes those systems are vulnerable, especially when forced to reveal themselves. One example, Ukrainian drones struck 2 Russian Mi-8 helicopters at a base near Crimea, reportedly destroying them. Newsweek that suggests that helicopters don't always need a bait trick. They can be hit at bases or under vulnerable conditions. But the ambush scenario adds a layer of strategic cunning. Another interesting element, Ukraine is pushing its helicopter crews to intercept and shoot down Russian drones. Some reports claim up to 40% of drones in a given area can be neutralized by helicopters when conditions permit. That places rotary wing aircraft in both offensive and defensive roles, adding complexity to engagements. So, in assessing the claim, Ukraine lured Russia's helicopter into a death trap. The truth likely lies somewhere between dramatic embellishment and strategic fact. The core techniques, baiting with a helicopter and striking from hidden drones, are feasible and documented in several forms. The specific video or incident that gives this claim wide circulation may include some creative framing or selective editing. But the underlying concept fits with the evolving tactics of modern conflict. If we accept that one of the ambush succeeded, what lessons emerge? First, unmanned systems drones are redefining how airspace control works. Traditional air dominance is challenged when small, silent drones can slip in and strike exposed defense systems. Second, deception and baiting are becoming more central. An asset that appears weak or vulnerable can be the lure to flush out hidden threats. Third, forces that can integrate intelligence, timing, and drone deployment rapidly hold an edge. Fourth, risk management is critical. No trap works unless assets are ready and losses must be minimized. To wrap up, the sky ambush claim isn't pure fantasy. It's rooted in documented tactics, using helicopters as bait, forced enemy reveals, and drone counterattacks. Not every such story will be accurate in detail, and propaganda and misreporting are real hazards. But the broader strategy matches the evolving face of warfare in Ukraine: asymmetric, drone, heavy, and based on cunning more than sheer force. That's the truth behind the legend. If you want, I can dig up the specific video source, timestamp details, or more technical analysis of a particular version of this ambush. Just say the word.